Tracee Ellis Ross. You star on Blackish, and you've just earned your first Emmy nomination for Best Actress in a Comedy Series. So first off, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. It's very exciting. It's a very exciting time.
And it's really great because your co-star Anthony Anderson, he helped announce the Emmy nominations that morning, and so he was there when he was nominated and you were nominated, and then the show was nominated for Best Comedy Series. Yeah, did you watch the announcement live, or did you find out after the fact?
I did. I watched it live. I was sitting at home. I was ready. I was there supporting my TV husband as he did his duties. And it was actually really funny when he said his name. I went like this, and I wouldn't stop. Like, it went on for like way too long, and I was like, okay, that's enough. And then when he got to my category, I couldn't figure out. I was like, wait, are they going to go with the L or the Ross? I was like, God, I hope it's the Ross, because we've gone past the E's. And so it was very exciting. And then it's like the trifecta. It's like even more exciting, the fact that the show is nominated. It's truly like the most special way it could happen, because it's all of us. It just feels really great to be able to share it with everybody.
And it's one of those great situations where, I mean, Anthony Anderson was nominated last year, but sometimes for some shows it takes a year or two to really catch on fully with the Emmys, like shows like Will and Grace and Seinfeld and Everybody Loves Raymond. They had to wait 2, 3, 4 years before.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah, they maybe had like a smattering here and there, but I think like 2 years into Will and Grace, a couple of years into Seinfeld, and I think Everybody Loves Raymond had to wait like 4 years before it really became a huge Emmy hit.
Really?
So
I actually didn't know. Really interesting information. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's even more special because recently your mother Diana Ross actually just took out a full page ad in the Hollywood Reporter to congratulate you for your nomination. Did you know that was going to happen, or did she surprise you with that?
I did know it was going to happen, but it was really still exciting nonetheless. It was really cool. And I actually have not yet seen the actual issue. It's waiting for me at home. So I kind of, I'm excited, because it's exciting to like see an actual magazine and like flip through and see something like that. It's very cool. It feels like my high school yearbook times 100.
Yeah, I do remember that in high school, where you could like purchase, like students could purchase ads and have pages for themselves, except you're the only one in it. So, well, there might be other probably for your consideration ads because it's the Hollywood Reporter, but that one's probably.
No, people, listen, it's not the first time someone took out an ad. This is not like the first time like a person has done something like that. My mom didn't like reinvent the wheel. People have clearly done this for other people before, but it is still a great, there's something really special about it. It's kind of interesting. Like, to be the daughter of somebody that is a international treasure or whatever, and then I'm not or whatever, I should say that. But then for me to find my own spot, in life and in this career. So it's special. It's very special.
And it's especially a significant spot because there's a lot of talk about inclusiveness at the Emmys and on TV lately, and you're actually the first Black actress nominated for Best Actress in a Comedy Series since Felicia Rashad, which was 30 years ago.
30 years.
When I heard that, I had to go back and double check to make sure. I like literally went nominee for nominee, and I was like, nope, and it really just goes back 30 years. It's been that long. Did you realize that milestone that you and the show were achieving?
I actually saw it on Twitter about 3 days after the nominations came out, and I called my publicist and I was like, how do you find out if something like that is true? And she was like, Wikipedia. And I was like, let's Wikipedia. So the two of us, like at the same time, were on Wikipedia. And so I didn't know that. And now that I do know that, it adds a whole other layer to this experience, and really has sort of spawned a dialogue within myself and just a really interesting conversation that I'm having with other people, and having like, why is that? Why is that? And what does that mean? And what is there for us to do? And why is it that, and I feel like it's a really interesting convergence of like race and gender, because this category specifically, because supporting actor has had a lot more diversity in it, but lead actress in a comedy has not, and that's kind of fascinating to me. And what is that about? What does that say about the stories that we're telling over the last 30 years? and more about the stories that we're telling than the work that's being done.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that that seems to hit women of color, especially where being a woman in Hollywood and in entertainment, it can be challenging, and then being a person of color in entertainment can be challenging, and so when you add those together, you get statistics like that.
Well, I don't know if it's about being a woman or a person of color in this industry. I think it's in our world. I think that, art is environmental, and it is usually a reflection of how the dominant discourse sees you, as opposed to the actual genuine true experience of what's happening. It's like when people say, I mean, this role that you're playing is so like modern, and it's so, this kind of woman that you are. And I'm like, it's new, it's revolutionary for television that a wife can have an autonomous being and have a full experience outside of her husband's story. I think that's new for television. It's not new for life. And it's not that women of color are not being funny and being the leads of their own lives all over the world. It's more that that's not necessarily being reflected appropriately and in a way that matches what's actually happening. So, yeah.
And the first season of the show was so well received. Going into the second season, did that give you a sense of extra confidence, or like did you really feel the show and the cast had really hit their stride going back into making season 2? Because it felt like that watching it.
I think first of all, our show we have extraordinary writers, and I think the subject matter that comes up. I think our show is getting better because it's getting clearer. It's like wine. It gets better with time. You know what I mean? It has a chance to like talk to each other and like figure out who it is and what it wants to be. You know what I mean? So I think it was the premise of the show and our first few episodes. They just were well written to start. And then I think we've all kind of, it's like, you become a family. And I don't know that I could take credit or know in any way. I really feel like the writing is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really good writing. And I think first season was great. We were all finding our legs. There were some really fun stories that we told first season. The Nod was a great episode. I think the sex talk episode was fantastic. And then season 2 just kicked off with a bang, and we just like, I don't know that we could necessarily feel it from the inside, but you could start to feel it once people were watching the show and the difference in how people were coming up to us on the street and stuff like that.
And those first couple of episodes of the season, starting with the bang, kind of literally, because the first 2 episodes is the N-word and guns. What did you think when you sort of read those first scripts and the show was really hitting those topics like right out of the gate in season 2?
I was like, yes. I feel like what our show does is it takes these topics that are like on the wallpaper of our lives. I feel like there's like a weird stripe of sun right down my face. It's like one stripe down the middle.
it's like this elegant, glamorous sun streak.
Yeah, it's like I had somebody come and light me. Okay. So I feel like our show like takes these things that are on the wallpaper of our lives and like takes them off the wall and puts them in the center of the floor in the middle of this family, and we get to see how this family interacts with that, trips over it, like how they talk about it. But there are things that all of us in life are really dealing with. And the N-word episode I thought was genius. Like, I knew we were going to do that topic, but the fact that it came out of Jack's mouth was so funny to me, and that it created this really interesting like confusion for my character, who is so staunch on no hate speech, but yet then when it was her son, she was like, but and it's one of the things I love about the way the writers handle a lot of the subject matter, is that it's not like a black or white situation. Like, there's a lot of different points of view, and we let the audience, along with these characters, kind of find their way and have a conversation about this stuff.
And speaking about topics that are sort of the wallpaper of, kind of our lives and the cultural conversation. Of course, there was that episode Hope, which dealt with police brutality and especially trying to raise Black children to understand that climate. And that tone of that episode was more dramatic than the show normally is from week to week. How did that episode feel to shoot?
It was a really good experience. I don't know if you noticed, but one of the things that was really interesting about it was we did not leave the room. We stayed in that room for the entire episode. So it was a little bit like doing a one-act play. And it was intense, for 5 days to be in that same room doing that same, it was sort of in real time to a certain extent. It was like right in that little moment. Was challenging in a good way. Like it was a worthy challenge. And for me personally, it was a really interesting experience because my character's point of view about this subject matter was different from mine. It was a little less nuanced than my own point of view about it. So it required a different kind of, I don't know, something different for me that was not as easy, as seamless as it usually is when we're doing other stuff. And so it was a challenging experience and a really worthy one, because I think all of us as actors, it was an opportunity. All of us, we talked a lot. We were really there supporting each other. It was written by Kenya, so he was on the floor because the writer that writes the episode is usually on the floor with us, so that was exciting. I don't know. It was just as heavy as it felt.
And a much lighter episode, and it's actually the one that you submitted for your nomination for Best Comedy Actress at the Emmys. Your first nomination is Sink or Swim, which the episode where Bo battles sort of the school mom mafia, and then she finds out that one of those moms is actually a doctor, just like she is. What about that episode stood out to you, or did you have help choosing that episode? Did producers have input, or how was that selection made?
How was the selection made? It was actually a tough selection. It was tough. I knew that Anthony was submitting Hope. I didn't think, I was like comedy. So I was like, I think I want one where Bo is doing some of the Bo-isms. And Sink or Swim, I thought from start to finish was like, you got to see a lot of different places that Bo was going. And I liked the way it dealt with the gender idea for women, where culturally we sort of pit ourselves against each other and we forget, or we are told sort of to pit ourselves against each other. And then you find out that we're more alike than we are different. And there were just some really great, very funny scenes around the pool that I just thought were worthy. Really worthy.
Another thing that was significant about season 2 was one of the funniest relationships on the show. I think is the tension between Bo and her mother-in-law Ruby, played by Jennifer Lewis, and she actually became a series regular in the second season, so you had more opportunities to work with her. What was it like to getting to spar more with her this season?
Fantastic. First of all, let's just backtrack. She's the Jennifer Lewis, I like to say. She deserves a "the" and a little nod of the head, the Jennifer Lewis. I think Jennifer is one of the most talented actresses around. I'm so glad that the world is properly getting to experience her. I don't think any of us quite knew what was going to happen or develop or be there between Jennifer and I around that. I've worked with Jennifer before, but these characters and the way they butt their heads is the most fun work experience I've ever had. It is hard for us to keep a straight face. Jennifer is brilliant, and the difference in Ruby's rhythm and Bo's rhythm and sort of what they're dealing with is hilarious. And it was very hard for me because I actually kind of wanted to submit that episode, the sick episode, when we find out I'm pregnant, because the two of us in bed together, I mean, just from the moment I read it, I could not stop laughing at the idea. And there were a couple of scenes in there that I I truly think were magical moments between she and I.
And that was a wonderful moment where you two actually get to bond to a certain degree. You're sort of forced together into this sort of quarantine space. And what was that scene in particular like to shoot?
Oh, it was fantastic. Being locked in a bed with Jennifer Lewis. I mean, come on, it was great. I think we had 5 scenes in bed together. It was maybe 4. And, it was fantastic. What was it like? I don't know. It was like 2 crazy people being stuck in a room together. I mean, trying to stay on script instead of all the improvs that the 2 of us come up with. All the insane stuff that we were doing in there. I mean, I think my favorite moment was when Dre was pushing her into the room and I was in the background, like all fuzzy, like the camera was focused on her, but I was in the background, like throwing a tantrum, like, no, please don't push that woman in here. So Bo is saying, no, no, no. And Tracee was like, bring her in. Yeah.
We have gotten to see a lot of Dre's family on the show over the course of the first 2 seasons. We've gotten to see some of Bo's as well, but not to the same degree. But next season, Dre Diggs is joining the cast as your brother. What were your thoughts when you found out that he would be joining the show?
I was like, good casting, people. He completely I don't know if you saw my Instagram. This stripe is so funny to me. I don't know if you saw my Instagram, but here, let's see if I can. Okay. I don't know if you saw my Instagram, but I made a picture. I actually found a picture of me and him, black and white, that we both like really looked like siblings. And I put them side by side and I was like, Bo and Bo's bro. But I'm a huge fan of Hamilton, and I saw him in Hamilton. He's an extraordinary talent, obviously won the Tony Award for his performance as Lafayette in Hamilton, and he's a wonderful actor. His comedic timing is perfect. We've now shot, I think, 3 episodes with him, and it creates a brand new dynamic, because usually it's Bo against the 3 of them. It's Bo against Pops, Ruby, and Dre. And there was one scene recently where it was Pops and it was Ruby and Dre and me and Johan, and I was like, oh my God, it like felt totally different. And you could really start to feel where Bo comes from and this like sibling relationship between the 2 of them. It was really good casting. And I'm excited to see how they explore the sort of what Bo comes from and her mindset and the difference, because she's so different from Dre.
And there were moments in season 2 also where there were sort of new people added to the mix, guest stars and recurring players added to the mix to sort of into that dynamic, like Tyra Banks and Michael Strahan and Regina Hall.
Yes, Regina Hall.
What was it like bringing those dynamics into the show and shaking them up for some weeks like that?
Oh, that's really fun. It's fun when that happens. I mean, it just offers some new energy into the situation. But I think it's one of the things that is so awesome about our writers is our characters are so well developed that even a guest star that comes in has such clarity on who they are that it's like another opportunity. It's like pulling another thing off the wallpaper, right? Like you just kind of get another thing to sort of bounce up against. And they've been such great actors and great fun people. I mean, Regina Hall, like her timing is impeccable. It's like stupid. It was very hard, again, to not pee your pants with laughter when you're trying to work. Like, it's not easy because she has a crazy great mind. And Tyra Banks, like that was really fun. Like I loved what they did with Tyra, and Diane's character was fantastic. It was so cute that they did the music video. It was so much fun. So it just, it just offers like a whole different, just gives different energy into the whole thing.
With the Emmys coming up, and now that it's more than Anthony Anderson, it's you, and it's the show as a whole, and the show is growing at the Emmys. What are the plans for attending the ceremony? Is the cast the whole cast going, or how's that gonna play out?
I'm actually not sure. I believe the whole cast is going. I hope the whole cast is going. We have so much fun when it's all of us together. So I don't know. We are so busy working. I don't know if you know, but we are bringing the show to Disney World. And so this is our last day of shooting here, and it's a kind of sparse day because people have already started getting on planes because we're bringing the entire production, so everybody's coming. So when we're all together, it's fantastic. And we've been so busy working, we haven't had much time. Like, I think right now a lot of the conversation is about Orlando, but maybe when we get back, the conversation will switch to like Emmys and like what we're going to be doing for that and what everybody's wearing and all that kind of stuff. I told Anthony keeps asking what I'm wearing, and I'm like, just think of it like our wedding, Anthony. You won't get to know till I hit the carpet. So it's been really, really funny. He's like, well, come on, give me a color. I'm like, I'm not giving you anything. He's like, nothing? I'm like, no. He's like, who's the designer? I'm like, I'm not telling you anything. So we've been playing around that.
Well, it's not like you have to worry about clashing necessarily, because I mean, most of the time the men come in a black tux. Chances are you'll go together.
That is true, but I will tell you this: Anthony and I have a tendency, whether and we never plan it, that we always match. There's always something. It could be like his pocket square will be like the same color as my dress. Like, it's nuts. Like, we always. It's like we do spend a lot of time together. I mean, we work, a good average of 12 to 13 hours a day together. So, and we're usually together when we're off because of press and stuff. So, it's not that odd that Anthony and I are this connected.
Well, what you should do is, like, if you're not gonna tell him what the dress is until he sees it, you should get the dress and then get his tie and pocket square to match. And then
it would sort of be like a prom. It would be like him, like, instead of him getting me a corsage, I'll get him a tie and a pocket square. I think he's bringing his daughter. I'm not sure if he's bringing his mom or his daughter. I haven't decided who I'm going to go with. Maybe I'll go solo.
Well, that would certainly be. I mean, you'll have certainly lots of company and support there too. With Anthony and however many of the cast are there.
Yeah. It's very exciting. I have to say that, these moments, I don't do what I do to get nominated. I love what I do. It's such an amazing, and to be blessed to be in another experience on a show that feels like it's going to go for a long time is like just very exciting. And yet the nomination is so special. And I've thought about it, and I feel like award shows and nominations are special to me because it's an opportunity to celebrate and thank all of the people that make these things happen. Like, television is a collaborative art. You do not do it alone. Like, I happen to be the front face, for this category and this right here, but like, it's all of these people that make it happen. So the fact that the show is nominated as well, and that all of us get to share this with each other, is really an exciting thing for us. I think it's fueled a lot of joy on set.
Well, congratulations again on the Emmy nominations for you and the show, and on the third season coming up, and hopefully many more. Thank you very much for talking to me today.
Thank you so much.